But what does it mean to have this event, see all your old teammates, some maybe who you keep in contact with, some that you don't?
Yeah, it's good to see what type of shape everyone's in after 20 years. But it is nice. I mean, we don't see a lot of each other. A lot of guys live out west, so this is a great time to get together and celebrate something that's very hard to do and catch up.
What does it mean to have the franchise want to do this 20 years on for you guys?
Well, it's nice. I think it's good for the franchise, good for the fans, and it's nice for the guys to get back and sort of rehash and relive our success that year in 2003.
What's it like to see what the franchise is currently doing with this? I see your face there.
It's exciting, yeah. I mean, so it's a good year. Usually we've been here, it hasn't been great. We're sort of been rebuilding, but this is nice. It's nice to see the Devils back on top and playing good hockey, and hopefully they can keep going and keep building and getting better and better.
What is the most exciting part of what you're seeing right now from this group?
I guess the depth. The team is important. Obviously, we know that from winning championships, and they have the depth, and they have some good young players that have really taken the next step, and that's what you need in an organization, and we're starting to see that development.
What do you think this night would mean to someone like Pat Burns?
Oh, it would mean the world. I mean, he won a lot of awards, and he had a lot of success with a lot of other hockey teams, and this is where he reached his goal, which was winning a Stanley Cup, and that's really all he wanted to do. So I feel great that we could win that for him, and it's unfortunate he isn't still here with us, but I think he had a good gift, and he deserved it. He was one of the best coaches, and he was a guy that has done a lot for this game.
Scott, was there a moment in that 03 run when you said to yourself, yes, we have a special team here, we can do something special?
Well, it was a challenging road to win the Cup, but I think we had a lot of depth. I talked about that before, depth, and we had a team that was physical. We had some big guys, we had some scorers, so we had a good team that could really play any style, any way. So, I mean, I think, you build and you get more confidence as you go, beating Boston and then moving on to Tampa, and then the other two series get a little tougher as it goes. So you get challenged and you get pushed to the limit. But we were able to win the last two series and win another Stanley Cup.
You talked about it earlier that it's been a while since this team has been on this type of run. There's playoffs, the fans are excited. But do you think there's still some hurdles that they need to overcome to get to that point where they're actually a Stanley Cup contender? Get into the playoffs, do what you need to do, and maybe things will happen for you? Or?
Well, yeah, I mean, it would be great if it all happened this year, but there's stepping stones, and we learned that as a franchise, and we had to, sometimes you have to lose to win, and I just think they're going in the right direction, and the development of the young players and drafting right is a huge part of what's going on here right now, and that's how you win, and that's how you become a good team for many, many years, is drafting right, developing right, and then bring in some free agents like a Dougie Hamilton. That's how you get a team that is contending every year. So they're getting there and they're working at it, and I hope they win the Cup this year. But you know what? I think they just want to make the playoffs and have a good run and go from there. And anything can happen when you get in the playoffs, and that's the way this league is set up right now.
Do you find it complimentary how they changed some of the rules with Marty as the goalie and yourself, the way you play defense, that the rules have changed in 20 years?
Yeah.
I know maybe you don't want to say.
No, I mean, I get it. I understand what they're trying to do. We want to. It's all about scoring more goals and having more speed to the game, and that's what they wanted to achieve, and that's what they got. Yes, it's taken away from the hitting a bit, but yes, the game had to become safer like every other sport. I get it. But I do hope the playoffs gets a little more physical, and guys have to pay a little price for holding onto the puck. That's my opinion, and I guess I'm a little old school. But
you really enjoy playing defense, and yet you still need defense to win.
Oh yeah. Defense is a huge part. I think that's very important, and I mean, if you don't defend well, I don't think you're going to outscore your problems. So you have to play well in your own zone, and guys have to be committed to defending and creating offense from defense.
Brian, what does it mean to have this whole group reunited together? Obviously not everyone here, but just to be honored like this 20 years on.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to see everybody. You keep in touch with a lot of them, but there's a few that you've lost touch with and you haven't seen in 20 years. So it's nice to see them, nice to be a part of it again. And it's nice to be back in New Jersey like this.
Was there anyone in particular you can mention that you hadn't seen in 20 years that was exciting to catch up with?
Yuri Beach, I hadn't seen in years, and so we caught up yesterday. It was nice to do that. Albelin, probably 10 years since I've seen him. So like he was like my first seatmate on the bus. So a lot of great memories here. I love New Jersey. I love the guys, and it's nice to be back with them.
One of the people who cannot be here is Pat Burns, obviously. He was so instrumental to all you guys. What do you think tonight would have meant to him?
I think it would have meant the world to him. He worked his entire pro career to win a Stanley Cup, and to come here and do it, I think meant a lot to him. And I kept in touch with him throughout the years after leaving New Jersey, him living in Montreal, me playing there. And so right up into his passing, it was tough to watch and be a part of it. He meant a lot to me. It was my first full season in the league that he came in, and he did a lot to solidify me as an NHL player. So I owe a lot to him and Lou, but seeing his wife and his daughter this weekend was super special, because I haven't seen Mrs. Burns in probably 10 years or so.
How about the game tonight, the team that you're going to be seeing on the ice, this new iteration of New Jersey? I mean, I see the smile. Is it an exciting thing to see the franchise taking this next step, and what do you see?
100%. You see the youth. You see the excitement. You see the energy in the youth. So for me, that's fun. And I live through it through my kids now. And so, who they're watching, what they're watching on TV, I have to watch. So it's Hughes. It's Hughes. Can we meet Hughes? And so I went to school, went to college with his uncle, so we're good friends with the family. But the youth is in this league, it's insane what they can do and how good they can be early on in their careers.
What do you make of just this season in particular and what they've done, maybe ahead of schedule or ahead of where people thought they might be this year?
Not real surprised, considering I know the coaching staff, Lindy a bit, and Chris Taylor, and obviously Sarge. We've got a great staff. Nothing Brunette, I just don't know them, but those guys, knowing them intimately, it's no surprise they're having success.
What do you think Sarge is like as a coach, knowing what he was like?
I'm sure he's much the same as he was as a player. He hasn't changed. He's the exact same. He's the guy that you'd be sitting next to in the stall. He'd be the same behind the bench. So yeah, I would have loved to play for him, and I don't think he's changed in 25 years.
Brian, when you watch this year's team, what impresses you most? Is it a certain skill? Is it what they bring defensively? And do they need to still go through a little bit more to experience before they get a lot of playoff success?
For sure. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's early on, but they're hitting their stride now. They're going to go through some ups and downs as a team, as an organization. But I think what sticks out to me is the speed, the fun that it is watching them play. They're gonna go through their times, right? They went on a hot streak and then they cooled off, and I think that's all good learning lessons for a young team coming into the playoffs. So those are things that they're going to need to experience in order to have success.
What are the conversations like with the guys in that room, about this current team? Is it almost like kind of like a little bit of a shock, like some guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking, I'd say I'm on the younger side in that room. You know what I mean? So it's I don't want to dog anyone, but I'm on the younger side in that room. And for us, it's seeing how skilled these young guys are. It's for us in our game. It was about tactics and positioning, and we were fast, strong, we could shoot. But these young guys, they're doing it at 13, 14 years old, what we could never do through our pro career. So I think that's been the main thing that's been talked about, is the skill level of the young kids nowadays.
What about just people taking notice of the New Jersey Devils, right? Just the crest, all of that, because it's been a long time. There was so much success at the beginning and really a lot of difficult years. To see that on the upper echelon.
Yeah, to see the pride back in, and for us that have worn it and we've won, we know what it's like. We knew what it was like, and it's nice that they're starting to get back there. It's I don't want to say it wasn't disappointing, but it was sad to watch it go and not get the respect that it should have had. And so it's nice that it's on the back upswing.
Thanks, Joe. Joe, just wondering what this kind of means to you, to this whole group, to be able to be here tonight and be honored.
Well, it means we're getting old, 20 years, but it's great. I haven't seen a lot of these guys in a long time. A lot of them are still involved in hockey, but Yeah, it's special. It's nice that the Devils are on the upswing again too. It makes it that much more special. But yeah, just you get together with some of these guys you haven't seen for 10, 12, 13 years, but it doesn't take long before you start talking about old stories that we all remember so well.
I was going to say, does it feel like no time has passed just because of what you guys accomplished together and the significance?
Well, a little bit.
Yes and no?
We're all a little more gray, and but. Yeah, I think whenever you win, you have that bond, and that exists between all of us. And even though I wasn't here that long, to share in that moment with this team is special. And I think we all know that. We've had a great time the last 24 hours, so it's been a lot of fun.
So what was it about that 03 run, or is there something that you remember from that 03 run that you said to yourself, yeah, this team is something special, and we could do something special here?
Yeah, well, I had come the previous trade deadline, and I was amazed at how well I knew that they had great leadership with Scotty and Kenny Danico and Scotty Niedermayer, and it was a well-run machine. Thing of it is that you never know when you get into playoffs how it's going to go. The stars have to kind of line up a little bit. I remember I think we were the worst power play in those playoffs, but we had the best penalty kill. So I mean that was a factor that you thought, well, but things sometimes line up, and matchups and who you play, and we just started playing well, and a lot of guys did, and then Mike Rupp comes in and contributes. I mean, just things have to happen in order. You have to have a little luck on your side, but the organization, and it started with Lou, was pretty amazing. But yeah, and then in the finals, Game 7, you never know in those situations, but it's a grueling 2 months, but it was very rewarding.
What is it about this year's team when you watch them play that maybe you say to yourself, they got something special going here, and maybe in the playoffs they can make something happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, why not? Everyone's probably telling them that they're too young, they don't have enough experience, and this and that. But I don't think any of those kids in that locker room believe that. They'll be ready, and I'm a good friend of Tom Fitzgerald. I know that he probably is in their ear too. He has a lot of experience. It's been a lot of fun to watch them. I don't think anybody, including you, probably expected them to do this well. But when you're young and you're energetic and you have success and you get some goaltending, good things can happen.
What do you make of the level of talent that maybe someone like a Jack Hughes has right now and the way he plays?
Well, I'm amazed at the talent level of some of these kids that are coming in the league, and Jack he's no different. I mean, he's fun to watch. He's becoming must-see TV, like McKinnon has been and Connor McDavid. But you have to have your lead horse. I think every team that wins the Stanley Cup has to have a lead horse, and he's certainly emerged as that.
Just wondering, now that you're here, everybody's gathering, fans around, what's it like, and how much does it mean to a group 20 years on?
Yeah, I mean, I'd never really been to a reunion until I was for the '95 team, and I didn't know what to think, but they're great. I mean, it really is a nice thing to be able to catch up. There's a lot of your ex-teammates that you haven't seen for a while, and just being able to spend that time to catch up and see how everybody's doing, what they're up to, and then tell the same old stories. That never change. Well, they maybe change a bit, right? Maybe they get a little more entertaining, but yeah, it's a fun weekend, really fun.
One of the people who are obviously not here is the late Pat Burns. I know he meant a lot to the team, to the franchise. Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering, from your perspective, what do you think this would have meant to him?
Yeah, I mean, what stands out to me about Pat is just sort of what kind of a competitor he was. Mm-hmm. And obviously when you're able to win a championship, that sort of satisfies, mm-hmm. or kind of satisfies that until next season. So I'm sure he's, was very proud of that accomplishment. He was close before, and so to be able to reach that, whether you're a coach, player, whatever, competing for the Stanley Cup, and to realize that goal is, doesn't get better than that as far as hockey or competition goes.
What do you think he would make of tonight if he were here? And what it would mean to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you do have a sort of a unique relationship with the team when you do have success like that. And even when, hockey's a long season, you're together a lot. Even when you don't win, you share a lot of ups and downs and good and bad, and you have disagreements and you go out and you solve them, and but obviously when you can cap it off with a championship, it's just that much more memorable. And when you can think back and remember sharing the Stanley Cup on the ice, it just makes all that other stuff worthwhile. So.
What's it like to see the franchise right now on the up and up, what they're doing, the type of talent that they have?
It's exciting. I mean, it seems that is the nature of sport and hockey for sure, where there's going to be ups and downs with an organization, and, probably the nature of how they set it up with the draft and on, right, and the salary cap. So it is good to see. It's really good to see a good, young, talented hockey team playing some entertaining hockey, winning hockey games, and, it's exciting, I'm sure, for the organization, for the fans here, just to think about what the future could hold with this group.
Is it nice to see this crest starting to gain a little more respect again, in the upper echelons?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. Of course, it's good to see, the team I was a part of for a long time, back playing well, winning hockey games. I think people that have been around and understand, where this team has been and what they've accomplished, the players that have been through here and that, I don't think it went anywhere, to be honest. But, there's always a new group of fans. There's new people, younger people coming up, and, they weren't around. So you're right. It's a great thing that they're doing well.
Scott, when you watch this year's team, what is it about it that excites you? What area? Is it speed? Do you like what they have defensively? Yeah. What do you like?
Well, I think it really is. They're a team that sort of exemplifies the modern game. Like they're fast, they're skilled. They play that way. They're fearless in a lot of ways offensively. That is sort of the way the game is played now, and hence they're having success. So it's good. They're young, and there still is things to learn. Even the playoff hockey is a different animal, and I think this game, which I like a lot about it, is that you have to earn a Stanley Cup. It takes time. It takes taking some hard lessons and things like that, but a lot of talent, good young team, and they're on the right path.
Scott, how are things going with your role with the Ducks? You still doing that, obviously?
Yeah. I sort of have a part-time role that I've been helping out there. We retired there for a while. We've moved back to British Columbia now for over 4.5 years, and the last year I've been doing a little bit more with Anaheim. So I enjoy that. It's fun just to continue to be in sort of the competitive mind space, where you're trying to win and trying to, help the team have success one way or another, however it is you do it. So it's been good.
Has yesterday been like? Today been like? How you feeling?
Well, we're a little tired today. We stayed out a little too late last night, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to see all the guys and get back. A few of them I haven't seen almost since we played the European guys. It was great to see Patty Eliash and Yuri Bichek, guys who I haven't seen in a long time, so it's good.
What does it mean to have an event like this honoring what you guys accomplished 20 years ago?
Well, it shows where it's rare that these things happen, that you'd think it would take 20 years since the Devils, because we were such a dominant team along with kind of Detroit and Colorado for a decade. But it's nice to come and watch the team. The team's playing well this year, so it's good to see them play well, and to see the guys here. It'll be a lot of fun.
I know not everyone's here, but one piece that is certainly missing that everyone's thinking about is Pat Burns, and I'm just wondering what you think this would have meant to him.
Huge. It's he's a great coach and even a better man. I had Pat in Montreal when I started, and then I had him here towards the end of my career. So, and he's a big part of this. Why we all came together as a great team. We, like everyone talks about, we weren't the best team talent-wise. He made sure everyone checked their egos at the door, and that's the way we played, and we were successful that way. So it'd be a big day for him.
Nice to have his wife Lynn here to sort of represent the Burns family.
Absolutely, it was great to see her last night, and she's a great lady, and like she'll have a wonderful time here as well.
What do you feel was the key moment in that 0-3 run that really kind of sparked things and maybe made you say to yourself, yeah, we got a good shot here to win this whole thing?
Well, you have God in net. Didn't help, or didn't hurt, I mean. That's always good. We knew just from losing from Colorado a couple years earlier, we just, the year before after that, we got banged up a little bit with injuries and stuff, but we still had the core group of guys, so there wasn't really one event that happened that year. We always knew we had a great team. When you have even the game is played the way it is today, you have good goaltending and you have 4 top D, which the Devils had for a long period of time, you're going to have a good team or a good chance to win, and that's what we had.
What do you like about this year's team, what you see in this year's team, and do you think there's some nice the prospects of maybe them going deep into the playoffs?
Yeah, well, Hughes. It's easy. They were out in Seattle last year, the first time in the new building in Seattle. I went with Marty when he was out there, and he got hurt the game before, so actually excited to see him play here live tonight. But no, they've got to grow. They're young. It all depends on, things have to fall into place and get a little bit lucky and then go through the actual 4 rounds of doing this. It's very difficult, as we know we're doing here 20 years later, and we haven't done it since. So hopefully it'll be a good opportunity. If they don't do it this year, they have the pieces over the next little while to do it, I think.
Looking back at the 7-game series, we all remember Danico didn't get to play in Game 6. How important was it when he took the ice in Game 7? Like, what did it do for the team, and what did it say about the coach playing him in Game 7?
Well, it's a feeling. I think that's what made Burns great coach, is Pat didn't coach as a lot of coaches do in the day of, hey, my top line is going to play X amount of minutes. He had always had a great feeling behind the bench of what was working and what didn't work with any combinations. For players like me, it was great. I always got to play more minutes than I probably would have on some other team. So he had that same feeling with, hey, this D-man's not playing well enough in Game 5 or 6, and this could give us a boost doing that. As a professional player, it's nice to have guys come in there, but we're focused on our own business, and especially most of us, because we lost to Colorado. We had that feeling 2 years earlier that we lost at home in Game 6, so we were making sure we weren't going to do that this time. So.